Hello everybody, this is AK. I am back. So in this video, I want to talk about SUNTEC REIT. Right? SUNTEC REIT is one of those investments that I have, but I forget I have. And I'm only reminded I have it when I receive dividends from the REIT. Right? I have many investments like this. Like Old Chang-Kee, Hokkien Sing, ST Engineering, just to name a few. These are investments that have been in my portfolio for a long time, and they are just paying me dividends regularly. And I forget I have them. Why I say that? Because I don't really have to pay much attention to them. Mostly because I've already recovered my capital. My investment is free of cost, and I'm getting free money year after year. Right, and the investments are free of cost either because I've received dividends, good dividends over the years, and that recovered my cost, or because I did active trading and recovered my cost, or a combination of dividends plus active trading. And SUNTEC REIT is actually a combination of dividends and active trading. So for readers who have been following my blog since 2010, they would know that I was blogging about SUNTEC REIT quite a lot back then. And back in 2010, SUNTEC REIT was going to buy a 1/3 interest in MBFC, Marina Bay Financial Center. Right, and back in those days, its gearing was only 32.9%. And of course, in those days, interest rates were coming down. Right, so the macro environment was also very conducive for REITs and for any entity that would borrow money. Right, either to stay afloat or to generate more income, right, or to strengthen their balance sheets. So why I'm talking about SUNTEC REIT today is because I'm reminded I have that investment when I saw a research paper by Philips Securities that calls SUNTEC REIT the discounted gem. So that's why you see on screen, right? I asked the question, discounted gem or forgotten gem. That's AK being cheeky because it's a discounted gem to them, but it's a forgotten gem to me because I forgot I have it. And the thing is, now if you look at SUNTEC REIT now, it's a very different animal from what it was back in 2010. Right, I say the gearing was less than 33% in 2010, and now the gearing level is almost 43% in 2023. Right, and of course, the macro environment is also different. Back in those days, interest rates were very low and they kept going down, the interest rates. And now the interest rates are very high and they could stay higher for longer. And already the rising borrowing costs have imposed pressure on the distribution per unit for SUNTEC REIT. And we saw the DPU, distribution per unit, reduced dramatically by about 28% year on year. That's a huge drop in distribution per unit. And so this is where we have to be cautious, right? Because the research paper said that SUNTEC REIT is one of those prime candidates to benefit from a reduction in interest rates, which many people are expecting in 2024. Because why? SUNTEC REIT has a very low fixed rate debt of 58%. So only 58% of their debt is fixed, has fixed interest rate. The rest, 42%, is on floating rates. So if interest rates come down, then their financing cost of borrowings would reduce together with the interest rate because half of their debt is floating in nature, right? So, I mean, if you want to say that, I think it's being optimistic. There's nothing wrong with being optimistic, but if you were to go all in based on that point, then it's being overly optimistic. I mean, we could say the same thing about land lease REITs, which I made a video yesterday about land lease REIT, because only 60% of their debt is fixed and about almost 40% of their debt is on floating rates. And that's also a reason why we saw distribution per unit for land lease REIT declining, plunging by such a big percentage, right? So I would say temper our optimism. right? Temper our optimism. Things are very different in 2023 and compared to 2010, like I said, and there's no guarantee that things would improve dramatically in 2024 or even 2025, right? And we have to remember also the fact that REITs pay out 90% of their distributable income. 90% of the operational income is distributed, minimum 90%. Most of them will give out 100%, for example. And that leaves them with very little financial resources to cope with any event, right? And they can only get money either through raising funds from shareholders or raising funds from other investors or from borrowing more money from institutions, right? And if they can no longer borrow money from institutions, that means they have to go hand in hand to their investors or potential investors for more money, right? And we have to bear that in mind as a distinct possibility, right? That's why I keep saying that please look at the balance sheet, and balance sheet strength is important, right? And this reminds me of a song by Gurmeet Singh, right? Things different already, Singapore be steady, things safe and healthy, balance sheet. Okay, so I modified the song. So please don't think that die we have to invest in the share market, in the stock market for passive income in the form of the dividends, right? We have to realize that things are pretty different these days, and we shouldn't have to invest at all cost, right, for dividends. When the stars are aligned, that's when things will become very rewarding, right? So if AK can talk to himself, so can you. Bye-bye.